Hello and welcome to our new homesteading channel. I am Mel, and my husband John own a small homestead, also known as a small holding, here in the UK. We live on an island off the north coast of Scotland, the Orkney Islands, part of the Orkney Islands, and we have been living here for around over 15 years now. We have a cottage that we are renovating, and yes, we are still renovating after 15 years. My husband was working full-time for the vast majority of those first few years. We live here with our animals. We have several chickens and ducks, and we also have 2 cats. We have Holly, who is a complete big furry goofball. She's very smart but pretty dozy all at the same time. We also have Willow, who is her litter sister and the complete opposite of her. She is very tiny and petite and an absolute firecracker, and she causes absolute chaos all the time. The cottage sits on 2/3 of an acre. The cottage itself and the extended parts of the cottage and the barns take up quite a bit of that space, but we have managed to create several vegetable growing areas, and that is where our main focus is for the garden. The rest of the garden I'm trying to make as low maintenance as possible. I am in my mid-40s now, and John is into his 60s, so we have to think about long-term how much work can be achieved. And obviously we're not old or anything like that, but you have to think of these things once you get like into your 40s. And being able to focus the vast majority of our gardening time on growing our own food is our priority over making the garden look pretty. Although we do want the garden to look pretty, if it can maintain itself as much as possible, that is a big bonus. And I will be sharing quite a variety of topics on this channel. If you have come over from one of my other channels, my knitting podcast. I have a knitting podcast. I love to knit. I usually do Vlogtober, and during that I will usually show what we're growing in the garden, what we're harvesting, and also what I'm doing with that produce in the kitchen. And in having this channel, I'll be able to share more of those things. So now we're right at the beginning, or well, we're not even into spring yet, we're still at the end of winter, so we have lots of growing setups to start, and I will obviously be taking you through that process. And obviously as things come out of the garden, I will be showing what I'm doing with those too. So let me take you through the property and show you the growing situations we have currently set up and what we're planning, so that you can see how we are growing a good chunk of our own vegetables out for ourselves. And I will take you through our kind of growing areas. So we do have a large indoor greenhouse. We built this in 2020. John was furloughed for 5 months during the months we're not going to talk about during the plague, and we put this together, and it's been brilliant. It really has. We're able to grow lots of our own tomatoes in here, and we also grow winter squash, cucumbers, and we're able to set away our tender plants earlier in the year in having this greenhouse here. We do intend to hopefully create a heater for in the greenhouse, because we have our climate in Orkney is not great. It is very humid, it is very cool. Although we do have a lot of daylight in the summer months due to our latitude, yes, our latitude, we don't have the heat that you get further south, so it can be a bit of a problem growing certainly more the Mediterranean vegetables. We do have a small greenhouse that used to be our greenhouse, and a potting shed at the back, which used to be the old air raid shelter. This is now used as a wood store for our log burning fires. We have logs that we get given from my mum, who lives over the water, and we also prune our trees to create some of our logs and kindling and so on and so forth, and that is stored in here. We have quite a decent size workshop, or John has quite a decent size workshop. It is an absolute mess in here. 99% of the time. It used to be the old pig shed when the property was owned by a previous smallholder, and I do have a photo and overhead plan of when it was so back in the 70s. The front garden is mostly just a traditional garden, although it is quite overgrown. It doesn't get as much attention as it should. The only thing we grow in here for the kitchen, as it were, is our apple trees. We use this south facing wall on the back of the workshop to grow our apples. We have 2 Bramley apple trees and 1 Braeburn and 1 James Grieve tree. They are both eating apples. A big proportion of our vegetables are grown in raised beds here on what we call the veggie plot. We don't utilise the whole plot, we just don't really need it for the 2 of us. We have vegetable boxes at the top half and we intend to install some more. They are getting really ropey now and need some repair and maintenance. The weather, the salt air up here, it just rots everything, whether that be wood or metalwork. We also have a large area of raspberries that we have not done anything with in the 15 years we've been here, and we need to cut out a big path through the middle of them so we can actually access the vast majority of the raspberries. We need to mark out beds properly, and that is a job for this year. We also have a large gooseberry bush down the bottom, which is terrible for gooseberry sawfly, but as we don't really eat much in the way of gooseberries, it hasn't really been a priority. We also have a large quantity of rhubarb that comes out of here, because do we even have a Scottish garden if you don't have rhubarb in it? We do use quite a surprising chunk of our land for the chickens and ducks. We used to have a lot more chickens than we do now. We have 5 chickens which lay eggs, although they are getting a little older now, and we have 2 male ducks, so we obviously have no duck eggs anymore. We used to have a lot more ducks. We used to get relatively regular duck eggs over the summer, and we used to have a lot more chickens and cockerels too. But as they have dropped off the twig, we haven't replaced them, and for just us 2 we only need a small quantity of hens these days. So possibly when we get down to maybe 2 hens, we'll probably add a couple more into the mix. We do have other areas of the garden that we just kind of have as garden. We have a large copse of trees in the corner. Quite a luxury living on this island, because trees are quite rare, or large trees certainly, and these are not that large. They are mid-sized trees, but we do have some, and it is nice to have them just to hang out in. So what else can you expect from here? Well, I'm sure I'll be able to capture John on camera. He's not really one for talking on camera, although you can sometimes catch the odd word here and there. So I will try and slowly convince him to come on screen, but we shall see. Like I said, there will be vegetable growing, there will be the odd bit of renovation work that we are doing, or ongoing renovation, so I will be putting in DIY jobs as well, and there will also be kitchen stuff, whether that be harvest from the garden, being processed, jam making, herbal teas, whatever I happen to be doing at that moment in time, hopefully will be on this channel. Currently in the works, we have our new growing station that I'm setting up for seed starting. That will be coming up probably in the next video, and I'm currently in our sun lounge, which is half renovated. I am showing the nicest part currently, but I will update what's happening in here a little bit, not too much, because building work's only so interesting. And yeah, that's what's coming up in the very near future. I have onion seeds to grow, which in reality I should have grown 2 weeks ago, but January is a funny month. Tomatoes, chilies, all those kind of ones that need a long growing season, or they do here. We also have quite a bit of setup work to do in the next few weeks. We have, like I said, the vegetable boxes need repair work. The greenhouse is currently being set up ready for the new season. It is pretty green and mildewy on the plastic from over the winter, so that needs sorting out. I think John's planning on doing that soon, and just general maintenance and setting up ready for the new season. So thank you for watching my intro video, and hopefully I shall see you on a proper doing something video very soon. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.